this one habit is most likely robbing you from massive progress in your professional goals, your personal goals, and even in your personal relationships. Let me explain. This week, I was consulting a high-performing guy, and during that conversation, it became glaringly obvious that this one horrible habit was keeping him from possibly that life-changing breakthrough. Let's get brutally honest here. It appears to me that most people are not living a life of their chosen design, let alone their dream life. And the more people that I meet, the more I see that this is just a clear fact. You can make years of progress in just weeks by changing this one terrible habit. Let's back up for a minute. I want to know, are you living your dream life currently? What do I mean by that? Is your chosen career one you love? Can it support a lifestyle that's acceptable to you and your family, or can it, at least in the foreseeable future? Is there something healthy that you wish you could be doing more of that you're currently not? Like a hobby, like learning an instrument, taking in more quality experiences in your life? Are your friends or significant others moving in an upward direction? Do they align with your core values? Are they people that you can look up to? And do they support you in your goals, maybe your core values and your dreams? Or do you feel like your life is moving in the opposite direction that you want to go? Lately, in conversations with people from all walks of life, I hear people selling themselves way too short, and it's causing a lot of frustration and, quite frankly, pain in their life. So, what is this one terrible habit that you must rid of? It's excuse making. Make no mistake, excuses are far more destructive than you are giving them credit for, because most of the time when we use excuses, we don't even fully realize the implications that they're actually having in our lives. The problem is that any excuse that you use will work, and if you tell yourself long enough, you know, the old saying, if you tell yourself a lie long enough, loud enough, you end up believing it. Another bad habit that's closely related to excuse making is rationalization. And humans can rationalize anything. I would eat healthy, but I'll start next year. I should start saving, but I'll wait till I get a higher paying job. I have a friend who says, why wait? You're already broke. Or I'm sure you've heard this one before. I would get out of this stagnant relationship, but she's such a nice girl and we have a dog together. All the while, you're actually keeping her from moving forward and finding her own real happiness. And maybe worst of all, if we're talking about making excuses for possibly a dangerous or toxic person in our life, or a dangerous or toxic habit, then the consequences can be absolutely extreme. Excuse making and rationalization often come from fear of facing the consequences of being thoroughly honest. We're trying to keep the situation manageable and within our comfort zone, but it's those exact consequences you need to face that are keeping you from living a truly honest and purpose-filled life. We've all heard the proverb, to thine own self be true. Well, this is what we're talking about here. When I finally left the corporate world, it felt like the first time I had been thoroughly honest with myself in years. Having those same conversations day in and day out. Did you get the email? The boss is pissed. Doing all of this for a paycheck, but knowing deep inside that I had more to give. There was something more I wanted to be doing. I'm not suggesting that you quit your job here, but I am suggesting that more people need to start to face this truth and start to take steps in a direction that you know you want to be going in. Whether this is career, physical, spiritual, whatever. Lately, everyone I talk to seems to want something different or more than what they're actually getting out of life. Do you want to know what the secret is? Well, if we're talking professionally, find a skill or an area that fills you up and that you can be compensated for, and then chase opportunities in that area. One great example of this would be, say you love doing administrative duties, which I hate, then do it. But find a person or a job or a career that values running a tight ship like that, and that skill set is needed and highly valued. Maybe you're a hairdresser. Then grow your skills to the highest level, but remember, the juice is in creating an incredible client experience. This goes for doctors, lawyers, actors, musicians, delivery drivers, baristas. Plumbers, roofers, and the like. Anytime that you can do an activity that fills you up and you can get paid for, that's where a lot of the juice is in life. For years, I was a public speaker, but eventually was kind of feeling burnt out. So next, I started to work as a corporate training director for some time, and I was able to help aspiring speakers to develop their skills and abilities. This really gave me a ton of joy and fulfillment. What makes life fulfilling is helping people to solve a problem or learn a skill that you have conquered. And if we're talking about professional life here, you must get to a place or find a company or find a way that you can be compensated for it so you can continue to do this thing without getting burnt out. Well, here's a simple 3-step process that you can use to eliminate destructive excuse making in your life. First, you have to learn to hear them. When you get so good at excuse making, you probably believe that they're true and you can't tell the truth from the bullshit. You have to learn to hear it flying out of your mouth and call yourself on it. Say something like, no, that's an excuse. I'm not going to believe that today. I'm not going to allow that to control my inner voice and my actions. Next, you have to learn to replace them. So once you've identified a destructive thought pattern or something you tell yourself all the time, you have to make a plan for how you're going to stop. Here's an example. I know somebody who always complains about money. And when I would interact with them, I would fully participate. I would rationalize that it's no big deal, we're just talking. And this started to really affect me, and every time we would have this discussion, it would make me feel depressed, and then I started to get depressed anytime I thought about money. This is not good. So I had to call myself out, and I also had to let the other person know that I would no longer be complaining about money along with them. In fact, I didn't even want to discuss it with them. This took a little time and it was a little weird, but that conversation with us has mostly disappeared. And when it pops up, I catch it as fast as possible. So I've made a plan and I've stuck to it. And if you do this, you will notice the bad habit of excuses and rationalization will all but disappear from your life. The final part of this is to take a new or different action. Even if it's just a little one, you want to learn to begin to do the opposite of what the excuse is telling you. In other words, I don't want to go to the gym that day, so the action I'm going to take is go to the gym. I don't want to eat healthy at this meal, so I'm going to do the opposite of what this excuse is telling me. I'm going to go ahead and eat healthy at this meal. It's okay if I talk bad about money this time. No, I'm going to do the opposite. One tip I like to give people here, if you're a consistent excuse maker, start with the most destructive and work your way down. So for me, complaining about money was a big deal at the time. And once that was gone, I stopped making excuses about, well, my belly was getting too big and I'm just going to keep eating. So I started going back to the gym. Now I'm moving closer to that goal by giving up excuses one day at a time. And that is really how you crush rationalization and excuse making. It's one decision, one thought, and one day at a time. If this video was helpful, check out this one up here. It's how to stop allowing other people's opinions to hold you back. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos on personal and professional development. We'll see you in the next one.